Another day, more interesting stuff as they try to reopen the government, which they're currently debating right now at this point in time, kind of bored with it. Just get it done or don't get it done. But what people are talking about today is the Epstein files, which are still not out. I'm going to tell you guys how this is supposed to go and why we're probably never going to see them. But there's no doubt stuff is leaking out, a lot more questions. I will tell you this, as I've said it over and over again. There's a lot more to the story. I think the more that gets discovered, the more questions are out there. The more people try to hide it up, the more I think people call bullshit on the administration. And don't tell me that, you've changed your story several times on how you knew him, how you didn't know him, how you kind of knew him. Well, these emails today said something a little bit different. And everybody's like, well, they cherry picked. Of course they did. Like, if there's fucking 30,000 emails, I only want the emails that say, I don't need to know what you had for breakfast. All right. I don't need to know how your grandkids are. Right. If you're looking for something that's incriminating and potentially a crime, then yeah, you're looking for that. So yes, this stuff came out today and you're going to hear all kinds of stuff. Look, you take it as it comes. All right, that's the first thing. Everybody wants to rush out. It's this, it's that. Here's what we know. There's a lot more to the story. I'm going to give you the three quick, synopsis here of the emails. And again, there's a lot more out there, and I'm sure by tomorrow people have perused through, and he's in a lot of emails. So the whole, we were just kind of met, and then I threw him out because I found out he did some shit, and that's all bullshit. I think we recognize that. 2011, April 14th. I want you to realize that dog hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, which we now know as Virginia Giuffre. I think I said that wrong. God rest her soul. Spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. This one's to Michael Wolff, January 31st, 2019. Victim, Mar-a-Lago, redacted. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never member ever. Of course he knew about the girls. He asked Ghislaine to stop. That right there is enough for me to go, you knew about the girls? You asked somebody to stop? Let me ask you, anybody who's watching this or sees this, how many friends do you have traffic kids? And you're like, hey, you should probably stop that. Just out of curiosity. How many? It's fucking disgusting. It's disgusting. And the lies and the bullshit, it's getting old. It is. But if you knew a lot more, and I've never once thought he or even Bill Clinton participated in anything with underage girls. I'm starting to think, though, they knew a lot more. A lot more. And that is just as bad. It is. That is absolutely just as bad. This one is from December, also Michael Wolff, 16th, 2015. I think you should let him hang himself. Oddly enough, Jeffrey, just letting you know that. If he says he hasn't been on a plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in any way politically, generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when he asked, he'll say Jeffrey's a great guy and he's got a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in the Trump regime. And there's another 20,000 that came up. So the way this works, everybody hears about this. Like I saw Tim Burchett from Tennessee out there today. He's like, I tried to get it released. I tried to bring it to the thing. And it doesn't work the way that everybody thinks that you just vote on it right then and there. Okay. The discharge petition, right, brings it quickly out of committee onto the House. They vote on it. Right. So, then what? Well, then there's so much that goes with it. Why it's never going to be released is simple. Because if it ever gets out of the House, right? So they're going to vote on whether or not to, the discharge petition, right? So then you bring it to the vote, right? So that's one of the votes. So you bring it on the floor. Then you vote on whether or not the bill itself can be voted on. So you go and vote on, it is HR 4405. It's a law. Then from there, it goes to the Senate, right? So John Thundoggle, do you think he's really going to take it up? He's going to hear some shit, but do you think he's willing to do it? Probably not. Probably not. And if that was to actually happen, and they did have enough to actually pass the bill in the Senate, it would go to the president of the United States, who would then have to either sign it into law or to veto it. Do you think that's going to happen? No, I doubt it. And you can spin it all day, every way. The fact that people, take away from it what you will. There were powerful men who did horrific shit to young girls, and it is fucking disgusting. And the I'm going to clean up the swamp bullshit is, no, you didn't. You just went in and you decided you were going to be a bigger crocodile than the other crocodiles. Or you were going to be a hippo. If you don't know anything about fucking hippos, they will crush your soul. They'll bite a crocodile in half.
Thanks for being here, Bev. Ouija.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
I have your statement about the new Epstein emails that have been released by House Democrats. Mm-hmm. Separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us.
Yeah, man, the spin, she's phenomenal at the spin. But no, I don't buy the bullshit anymore. There's too many people playing too many games, and I think a lot of people feel the exact same way. The younger generation who was told how, hey, you know what? They seem to care about the kids. They seem to care about all the shit, and we're going to get this stuff out. And they go out there and they pitch it in Cash Patel and Pam Bondi, fucking useless, right? All of these people, JD Vance, and they're out there. It's like, we're going to release it. It's going to be day one. You guys it's fucking a joke. It's an absolute joke. It is. And the longer that you play the game, the worse it's going to get. The longer that you hide, the worse it's going to get. So, no, I don't buy it. Well, the only thing it proves, once again, I never once said that Trump did anything untoward towards anybody physically. That being said, we happened to be in the same city and he belonged to a club and we never really hung out. Then I found out and kicked him out. That's all bullshit. So the question is, did you know? And if you knew and you did nothing because he was your pal and the best thing you could do is ask Ghislaine, can you just stop doing it? Is it ridiculous? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's a joke. And you got Cash Patel, right? Oh, freaking, going to see everybody in Valhalla Patel running around out there saying, well, Jeffrey Epstein never trafficked any women. Really? Because there's a weird fucking ex-prince that lives in his freaking brother's tool shed in the back of the freaking, castle in England who seemed to got some ladies from him. So maybe that's not true. Maybe that's not true. The stories change. It's the thing about lies. You got to remember the lies. What was that lie here? What was it here? What was it here? What was that one? What about that? And the more that you hide something, the more that you don't want it to come out, whether it's because of donors or friends or pals, none of you watching, I have a feeling any of you have anybody who traffics in kids. Thank God for that. But would you hang out with them? Would you send them emails? Would you tell, hey, dude, you probably shouldn't do that anymore? Or would you say, you fucking pig? Yeah, I'm going to turn your ass in, and you deserve to have your ass turned in. No, they don't. It's a game. Those girls were trafficked. Those girls were absolutely 100% molested, sexual assault, used and abused by dirty pieces of shit. And the person that was going to be the guy that's going to come in and clean it all up seems to just kind of go, this is nice. I think we'll do this, which is crap. Absolute crap. Tomorrow we'll have more that'll be less this and more other stuff like the shutdown over. Yes, no, maybe. Talk a little bit about that tomorrow. Got a bunch of other good stuff. AI as well. Is the bubble here? Because it feels like there's a bit of a bubble, and that, I've been saying, I think eventually it's going to pop. And when it does pop, there will be a few standing, but I think we're getting to the point now where the money is so big that everybody's thrown into this, that the chances some of these companies making any kind of profit will be decades away. We'll talk about that as well. You guys have a blessed night. A little fired up on this one. I think we all should be, right? I think there's a reason to be. Absolutely. And at this point in time, you've gone from, well, maybe I believe you, to, you know what? I'm not really sure I believe your shit. And I think there's a lot more to it. And I think we deserve to know the truth. And I think most importantly, those girls need justice and the opportunity to have their voice heard. And when I hear, well, what we really want to do is we want to make sure we redact their names so they know who the victims are. Really? Because there's fucking 30 of them outside and they're totally fine standing in front of camera talking about their story. I think they're okay with it at this point.